Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking all about traditional British desserts that you're basically going to find on almost any menu if you go out. Equally, it might be something that you are served when you are going over to somebody's home. If you're new here, hello, my name is Nicole. I have been taking you on this series all about being an Anglophile and what it's like to be an Anglophile actually living in England, because I feel like a lot of the content that I see out there online, maybe on YouTube or Instagram or even blogs, they're talking about being an Anglophile, and they are able to be an Anglophile in their own right. But it is no one that's actually living here. I find that there are going to be things that get reiterated time and time again, but then it's not actually authentic to the people who are actually here. And it doesn't seem that British. So if you want to know what it's actually like being an Anglophile in England, let's talk about it a bit more in this series. So you'll want to subscribe to see the rest of the videos that go live. So let's talk about desserts. Now, the first dessert that I want to talk about is something that I had never tried. I didn't even try it when I came to visit England before I moved over, but I tried it after I was living here for a period of time, and that is a Eton mess. Now, Eton mess is basically just going to be some meringue and then sometimes some clotted cream or a cream of some sort, and then berries on top. But let's see what it actually says. All right, I have the official definition, and it says, Eton mess is a traditional English dessert consisting of a mixture of strawberries, meringue, and whipped cream. First mentioned in print in 1893, it is commonly believed to originate from Eton College and is served at the annual cricket match against pupils from Harrow School, or pupils of Harrow School. So I think the first time I did have it, I was in Windsor, which Eton isn't too far from Windsor, but it is so tasty and nice. So you can either order this out at a restaurant or you can make it very easily at home, like you will see me do in a second here. But the other thing that I find that makes it very easy to do at home is just picking up the meringue. You can be a superhero and make the meringue yourself. And meringue isn't that hard to make, it's just whipped egg whites and sugar. But I just find that it's just one step that I don't mind picking up from the store. Now, I have a book from Hill House Vintage. She has a lovely Instagram account and she has a recipe in her book for how to make it. And so you definitely will see me referring to that in this next clip. So let me show you how I make a Eton mess pavlova and then a traditional Eton mess.
You could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. yourself. You're sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you. You don't even notice.
So as you saw there, the Eton mess pavlova, it's just in the little meringue, or you can just crumble up that meringue and make it into a traditional Eton mess. It is so simple. Now, one of the reasons I like this particular recipe is it uses some mascarpone, and that's not typical of an Eton mess, but it just gives it a little bit of something. Okay, so the next dessert that I want to talk about is a Victoria sponge. Now, I would be lying to you if I said that the Victoria sponge was my favorite British dessert. It definitely is not, and we're obviously not going into every British dessert. I just find that an Eton mess and a Victoria sponge is almost always on the menu. I do feel like Victoria sponges are going to be something that you get at maybe a kid's party or just some type of afternoon lunch type thing, or if you went for brunch somewhere, but it won't be on a dinner restaurant menu. Does that make sense? So let me tell you what officially a Victoria sponge is. So it says, the Victoria sponge cake is created using a mix of sugar, butter, eggs, and flour, and sometimes with the addition of baking powder. The classic filling has come to be based around jam, cream, or buttercream. The initial reason it was distinguished from a simple sponge was due to the invention of baking powder. Now, for this particular cake, I used the recipe from Hill House Vintage, that same book that you're gonna see me referring to. You saw me referring to it in the video of me putting together the Eton mess. And I felt like this cake was definitely heavier than what I typically have experienced a Victoria sponge to be, but it still definitely isn't a light and fluffy cake like I would have had at home in Canada. Now, for me, it's just too, like, anytime I've had a Victoria sponge, it's been a little bit dry, and then this cake especially was dry. And I even asked Paul, I was like, do you think that this cake is too dry? And he's like, no, it seems dry like most Victoria sponges. And that's just why I don't really like it. I like things that are moist and just really nice. But I was talking to my husband's aunt about making the Victoria sponge, and she was like, it doesn't sound like the measurements I would have put in. Now, this is something else that you might have to get accustomed to if you are from Canada, at least. I think the States as well. I don't know what metric system you guys use in the States, but they use grams and like they weigh things out here, whereas most of my recipes in Canada would be in cups. And so I'm constantly converting grams to cups, and maybe it was my error and I didn't do the proper math. But let me show you how I made a Victoria sponge. It does look really pretty, and it wasn't bad. It just was a little dry.
Days without water along the sun-soaked road. We crossed over borders to get where we are, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Nights without sleeping 'cause you fear the night, and days without eating 'cause it ain't enough for two, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. the cold, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Days without water along the sun-soaked road. We crossed over borders to get where we are, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Nights without sleeping, 'cause you fear the night. And days without eating, 'cause it ain't enough for two, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you.
So beautiful, right? It took forever to work through that cake. And I also think in that recipe, she made it in one tin and then just cut it. And I just wanted to do it separately. So maybe that was the error I had. I don't think that I would ever make that cake again, just because it's not my favorite cake, full stop. Never mind going out of my way to make it. But the next dessert that every restaurant will have on their menu, like this is like the most classic dessert to have on a menu when you go out, is sticky toffee pudding. Now, if you don't know what sticky toffee pudding is, or most puddings here, like people here call dessert pudding, but pudding also refers to the type of dessert it is, although people will just say the word pudding in reference to dessert, which makes it really confusing. But a pudding will be something like a dessert that's boiled, I believe. And so it's got more of a squidgy texture. It's not like, it's more, not doughy, but just stodgy, if that makes sense. So let's see what the official description of sticky toffee pudding is. So it says, sticky toffee pudding, also known as STP, never heard it called that before in my life, or as sticky date pudding in Australia and New Zealand, is a British dessert consisting of a moist sponge cake made with finely chopped dates covered in a toffee sauce and often served with vanilla, custard, or ice cream. So definitely you will find that it is served with either. They'll usually ask you what you want, but I find most typically it's gonna be served with a vanilla ice cream or just straight up cream. But I have had it with custard. Usually custard will be reserved for a crumble or a jam roly-poly, which is one of my favorites here, but it didn't make the list today because I feel like not every restaurant will have that. But sticky toffee pudding is the best. It is the best thing that has ever hit my taste buds, ever. And I do feel like, well, I'm saying I do feel like my husband and I, when we go out to restaurants, like we have to rate the sticky toffee pudding. And I wish we filmed every time that we rated a sticky toffee pudding, because we're not going to go back and visit certain places, like especially if it was places from afar, but it's our thing to rate the sticky toffee pudding, because everyone's sticky toffee pudding will just differ slightly. But our favorite sticky toffee pudding is at a place in Bristol called the Clifton Sausage, which you're gonna see more of our experience there in another video. But this sticky toffee pudding, I dream about it. There's a reason I have put on so much weight since moving to the UK. People say that the food is bad here, and the food is not bad here. The food is rich, and there are really nice indulgent treats. So let me show you what a sticky toffee pudding looks like. I didn't make this one. I'm trying to get Paul's auntie to teach me how she makes hers, but let me show you what this next dessert looks like. Divine, right? So simple, but so euphoric. Anyways, my friends, that is it for this video. What do you think is a traditional British dessert that should have been on this list? I mean, I think these are the most popular ones, but I want to know what your take is on it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, all about being an Anglophile actually living in England. Thanks for watching.